We're blind.
We're blind. We're bloody blind.
Oh, what? Make-A-Wish Foundation.
What was that?
Like, you know what you see?
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Sorry.
Was that like when when you say like you say the same word at the same time and you're like, oh, buy me a Coke?
Yeah, it's like Make-A-Wish, no? Like pinky swear. Is that it? Tell us in the comments down below if I have it wrong. It's not Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay,
that's where they make sick kids' dreams.
I know. It came out wrong.
So, why is it weird? Here we are.
Here we are again. Another
on est ici.
Episode of Weird.
Des émotions bizarres.
Des émotions bizarres. This is Weird Feelings.
This is Weird Feelings.
This is a new episode of Weird Feelings.
Oh, you're feeling weird. It was weird.
It's a weird feeling. It's
weird
feeling.
Here we are. Welcome back to another episode
of Weird Feelings.
Do.
So what's up, buddy? What you been up to, man?
Oh, just life, living life.
Living life.
Lots of rolling with the punches these days.
Rolling with the punches. Yeah, me too. I think I've been quite busy with extracurricular activities.
Oh.
Yes. Been working on my brand.
Oh.
Well, my brand that I'm rebooting, I guess, at this point. Because I haven't done anything in quite a while with it.
Is that what you want to talk about?
We could talk about it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So just give context. I have a brand called Uneducated Kids that's been sitting on the bench for a few years just because life and, things change. And I decided to reboot it. It actually took me quite a while to just get in the groove of designing it or just thinking about it. And
now, I've been trying to keep the brand alive by wearing the vintage line of clothing, that the hand-me-downs that you gave me.
I saw it, and I thank you for that. It's nice to see people still wearing them and appreciating them, because I did recently post like a teaser, and somebody's like, yo, I still have that hoodie and it's still going and it's still in good condition, and like, nice. I
okay,
like that.
so before we dive into everything, let's start from the beginning.
The beginning, okay.
So, uneducated youth.
No, kids. Uneducated kids.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Welcome to... This is I'm a DJ in the morning. So today I have, what's your name? Jonathan Kim. So uneducated youth. What is that?
First of all, it's uneducated kids, just to be clear.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Yep.
So uneducated kids.
Yes.
What does that mean? What's the idea behind it?
So the brand itself, it's about like my culture more, like my family, Cambodian roots. And the reason why I call it Uneducated Kids, it's because my father, I'm Cambodian, and my family has been through the war in Cambodia. There was a genocide, and for my father to like kind of survive, he had to kind of pretend to be like uneducated and be like some sort of peasant kind of vibes, like to the Khmer Rouge. Like they were questioning you a lot. Okay. And if you were like an intellectual, an artsy person, musicians, people of government, smart people, just anything that's culture and arts and school or education wise, they would just kill you. Jeez. So my dad was just kind of like, I don't know, I'm not,
So pretending to be uneducated.
Yeah, exactly, just to survive. So that's one of the meanings of it, like behind the brand, but it's also like a double meaning of like, being uneducated, you can achieve great things versus like, like it's cool, go to school, but but it's like,
it's cool, go to school, but also
if you're uneducated, you don't need school necessarily. Like I'm to an extent where I guess I am educated with, like, I went to primary school, I went to high school, CEGEP, but I didn't go to like university. And I still managed to do my own thing and then build myself a career and do stuff like that. So
Okay.
it has like a kind of a double meaning. So that's the meaning of the name itself.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it. It's nice when things have meaning to
Meaning,
them,
yes.
you know?
I feel
How long ago, like when did this start? This is interesting because I feel like I'm interviewing you. This is kind of fun. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, I like being,
Oh.
a celebrity now.
In the midst of a celebrity. Yeah. So when did you first, because, and just so far it's been clothing brand, right?
Yeah, it's just a T-shirt.
Okay.
Like it's like a streetwear.
So yeah. So when did you first come up with the idea and start doing that?
I think I was like working on like other stuff like with people or having brands, and I felt like I was building something that didn't have an identity, or I was just doing something for other people.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I just want to do stuff that is like very close to me, that talks about my personal life a bit and like my family, my roots, and that's why I was like, that one felt like more personal, and I just did it, So
So how long ago? Yeah, how long
how
ago?
long
do you think
ago?
that was?
So this from my last collection, the ones that I've seen you wear, that was like what, 5 years ago, 6. So
And that was the first collection that you ever.
I've done. This is the third right now. I did 2 collections.
Okay, so that was the second. When was the first?
The first was
When
like,
did it all start? That's what I want to know.
was-
How long ago?
it was
this?
when I was working at this store back then, and then that was maybe in the 2014, 2015, maybe I'd say.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
I started that, and then I did some T-shirts, a few things, and it sold out, and people liked it, and then at some point I just stopped because I was somewhere else in my life. But then now it's time to bring it back to life because people have been asking about it.
I mean, yeah, like I don't think I didn't know you that back then, and I knew you peripherally, and I never had any of your stuff. And then, not that long ago, you were like getting rid of some of your clothes that you just didn't want to wear anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are still good and clean. These look cool. And I was like, and I hadn't necessarily worn something that was made like from a friend before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like it has that little extra layer of like, you feel good and cool and supportive and whatever. So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, it's it's something that to me, like the brand or that, it's like a medium that I'm able to express myself on a T-shirt and have people wear it. But it's also giving meaning to like pieces beyond just like, hey, this is a cool design. Like a lot of the designs have a lot of deeper meanings and research that are like, to me, like hold dearly. And it's like, but I explain it to people, and people have been receptive, right? Because I think I gave you like the
I have a
dystopian
couple.
youth one.
I have one of those.
Yeah, I gave. Do you have the one with the like the lips going shh?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That one's-
The long sleeve.
The long sleeve. So I have that, and that one, the meaning behind it is kind of like stay quiet or else you might get killed kind of thing. And the back where it says, I forgot what it says in the back. It says something, but like the checkerboard was to represent.
Yeah.
So there was like a place that they would send people during the war. It was like a school, and they would like interrogate you and kill you. So the little checkerboard was like a hint to like the floor of the school was that, but it's
okay.
like it was a really dark thing, So
Interesting. I kind of wish that I knew that.
now I just told you.
No, I mean, like, obviously it was a hand-me-down, and there's no.
Yeah.
But curious. Now I'm just curious because like I feel like knowing that extra layer of meaning is like almost better than having it, right? So when you sell your shirts, right?
Yeah.
Do you include like is that a personal story for you? And if anyone talks to you personally, they find out, or is there like a bit of like is there like a card like on the tag or something that has the story, or like I'm curious because I feel like that would be such an interesting thing. You almost want someone, especially given the context of like the subject, right? Sometimes very heavy, dark stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you're selling it in a store.
Yeah.
What if some rando walks in and buys it because they like the design, but they don't know anything about what it means, and then you almost want them to know, like, hey, you like understand what you're wearing, kind of thing, right? Or no?
No, but the thing is, like, the story was that I was able to like tell those stories because I was working the floor too, and I would have
Right.
staff be like, "Hey, this is the story," and
Okay.
have them say. But a lot of it was maybe not fully. I think it was be more like if somebody would ask me personally, I would tell them the whole thing
Yeah.
behind. But like with social media too, I was able to like share those stories in a caption in a post and explain it a bit more.
Okay.
So that was like always it was always a thing that I always wanted people to know what you're wearing, you know, like
Yeah.
it's cool. Sometimes you buy fast fashion stuff and you know, you just want to look good, but if you like wear something and there's a meaning behind the designs and what the idea of the print, it's always better. Like a lot of streetwear stuff does have that, like the old stuff where they designed something and it was like, oh, this was like ripped from like this old movie and this is the meaning of it. So
Yeah.
it was also to bring that side of like streetwear that I quite enjoyed when growing up, when it was not like a big fashion thing. It was just more like a subculture. So that whole like influence from me like growing up with streetwear and learning about it. So just bringing that aesthetic and storytelling vibe into a piece of garment. You know, like you know, some brands, like even like high fashion brands or Japanese brand do have some sort of garment history, like, oh, this is dyed with this thing that's from this region of Japan.
Yeah, see, that kind of stuff is super cool. That's what makes
The value.
Yeah, the value,
It's
yeah,
like
for sure.
you understand why it's more expensive or why it's like
Yeah.
there's like a more like a hands-on or more craftsmanship
Yeah.
towards it. So that's something like I no, it's always important for me.
Okay, so you've had 2 collections. Third one's coming out soon.
Yes.
What's the idea? What's the plan? Are you doing something different from before? Something new?
No, different. Like the only difference is like it's like more like I'm trying to reboot it. I guess that's not different, but it's more like now it's just a soft reboot, so I
Okay.
could get the wheels turning. you
Yeah,
know?
just put out.
But you know, I brought back some old slogans that I built. Like you know, this is what I'm wearing. It says, "Our future's in the hands of youth." I don't know if you know the meaning behind that one.
Oh, please. I mean, I can imagine, but
Okay, so
enlighten me.
So during the Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia, they had child soldiers,
Okay.
and they were also investigating people to be like, hey, is this guy like sketchy or not sketchy, but like trying to figure out like if there were like doctors or intellectuals and stuff like that. So literally in the hands of like your future is in their hands, because if they find out that you are some sort of like person, an intellectual person or a musician or an artist,
They'll
they'll
get
kill
rid
you.
of you. Yeah.
But it's also the same thing with other stuff. It's like, you know, our future is kind of in the hands of the youth right now. Like whoever.
But you're saying, sorry, just so let's say you were a doctor, you're an adult, you're a doctor.
Yeah.
Khmer Rouge.
They want to abolish religion,
Yeah,
culture.
yeah, yeah.
They brought
So
the
all
country
that
to
was
the year
left.
zero.
So all that was left was the youth.
Well, no, all was left. The youth, they were using the children to brainwash them, and they were using kids. So let's say, I don't know, 13-year-old Tim.
Yeah.
You need to go and figure out if this person is somebody that's like of religion.
They'd use the kid to go and like investigate.
investigate and pinpoint people, but also do some killings,
Okay.
because it was like a
Was it
brainwashing. A lot of brainwashing.
were they using the kids because the kids could like disarm, like they could talk to the adult and the adult wouldn't think that the kid.
No, I don't think so.
They're just like we need soldiers, we need people, we're going to use the kids.
But they were brainwashing
they
them.
could brainwash them.
Yeah, so they were giving them like brainwashing and propaganda, and then you know they would find the people and kill them too. So
Man, that's
it's if you look into it, it's like every time I do like research on it, I learn a lot more about it, because
Yeah.
you know, I didn't live in Cambodia, and I did not like, me speaking about it sometimes makes me feel like bad because I didn't live it.
Right.
But my family, my parents lived it, and tons of people, some of my Cambodian friends, their family all lived it too. But I'm more of like, I was born here, but it's like more learning about that side and embracing, well, not embracing, just knowing and understanding it. Because I feel like when you talk about Cambodia, that's the first thing that comes to mind, because it's such a, there's so much trauma from it.
It's also not,
It's huge. It's like it destroyed the country.
and it's also not that long ago, right? Like when did that take place?
75 to 79.
That's not a long
Yeah.
time ago. That's recent.
So, it was dark. And then the thing that's sad is I'm researching this and I'm looking at like a lot of things has been destroyed from it, and there's not a lot left. But whatever remains, like I've looked at old footage of Cambodia, like pre-war, and it was becoming a modern, modern country. Like a lot of stuff was getting built, and it was like the king. It was like a royal government because there was a king.
Yeah, kingdom.
A kingdom. So, but like if I showed you footage of like before, it looked like it was like a country that's developing really fast.
Yeah,
and then
shut that shit down.
and then it just got fucked. Like
Sounds like kind of like what happened to Iran.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I don't know enough to really dive into that, but
that's what happened.
yeah, just like a burgeoning, like booming place, and then just the people who oppressed it just
it was like getting
shut it all
industrialized,
down.
right? It's
Yeah.
like moving forward. The building and the structures were super cool, and then the war happened and just brought the
fuck.
country.
Some people suck so much. Some evil fucking people.
Yeah,
and control others,
and after the war, like it was like it like until now I can see the country being rebuilt, but it's still like kind of corrupted. But there's like there's faith, like the music scene is way better. There's more. There's cinema that's starting to like appear, but like at some certain point where like I didn't see myself, like I didn't understand the culture because I felt like it was like not that cool,
right? But you didn't understand the why.
The why, yeah. And I talked to my parents about it, and they tell me what they want to tell me, kind of thing. Like
it's probably hard for them
it's
to
hard
talk about.
because
Yeah.
it's like it's a trauma that they've went through, and it's not just me. Like when I talk to other Cambodian friends that are my age or born here, like there's a understanding of how like of the trauma that's been, there's like just an understanding, like when they talk about their parents and how they talk about things, it's the same as how my parents are talking about things, about life and those little things, because they all went through the same thing at a really young age.
Yeah.
Like my parents were in their 20s when they went through it, so they lost somewhat of the a really good chunk where they went from like, hey, I might be going to school, like maybe university or something, to war, and then just from then on it was just to survive. It was just survival mode till now. There was no like, they lost that side of the youth.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's every time I do research, like I told you, like it's like I look at the part of the war. It's super sad. It makes me super sad. But I also try to like, now I'm looking more of like, what was the movie scene before the war? What is the music scene? What is the arts? And what's going on now? Like what is present day Cambodia? So I'm trying to like I'm shying away from like because a lot of the war stuff is the first thing people think about.
Yeah.
So I just try to like twist it in a positive note more than
That's
anything.
really cool. It's cool to like, so rather than like everything bad happened and we're just going to forget everything, you're like, hold on, what was before? What can I take from it? How can I, turn this into not turn it into a positive, but try to like look at your culture in a positive way and not just like from the suffering perspective.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like the music scene like during the 70s was really cool because a lot of the music was influenced by 70s rock and roll, like from the US, because the thing is like, before the war and the genocide, there was the Vietnam War was like the neighbor. It was right beside it. So GIs would like leave records and people would just bring it in, and that influenced Cambodian or Southeast Asian rock and roll.
That's pretty sick.
So there's a documentary about it that you should watch. I forgot the name of something like We Shall Not Be Forgotten. It talks about all the Cambodian rock and roll scene pre-war, and then talks about like during the war what happened and then after. So there's a lot of.
Do you
good
know
stuff.
if that's like picked back up or if like there's been a?
I'm not sure. I know that the
rebirth?
music scene has been like in a weird place, and now people are starting to make their own like original music, like versus just doing like copy paste of like, I don't know,
popular stuff.
Popular songs that are in America but Cambodian version. So it's like me taking a Bruno Mars song and make it Cambodian, but it's the same song but in Cambodian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's like karaoke style. It's not really coming like, it's not like original, like I'm writing my feelings and stuff for that. But but that the documentary kind of talks about like how Cambodian music is, so it's always like we talk a lot about love and like romance and stuff like that too in the music. But yeah, it's worth to watch. Like me explaining it might not sound as
No, it sounds really interesting.
but it's interesting. It's a really good documentary that everybody should watch.
So I think that's cool that you it's also for you a learning experience. Like you're learning about your culture, your history, you're reconnecting, you're finding a way to connect, right? Because you said you feel a little disconnected because you didn't experience it. So I think that's really cool. You're expressing it through a medium that you can, express and help other people maybe understand and grow and learn. And that's very cool.
Educating too. Like, not everybody knows about it. Like, I'm sure, like, or did you know about Cambodian wars? See, like, that was the thing that
maybe
happened.
not at all, but like, not much. And
like, the news barely covered it back then too, right? It was like, like if it was happening now, social media would have ate it up and people would know about it. But like, I feel like that's something that it sucks that it was kind of neglected, and for like what 5 years, 4 years, like our people suffered, and in a day like now, it could have been avoided with all the resource. Like, I can go deeper because a lot of that stuff is caused by the Americans. Like, they bombed Cambodia because Cambodia was like a neutral country between the war in Vietnam.
Okay.
But there was like a operation menu that's called that Nixon did. That was like a secret
fucker Nixon.
That there was like a secretive mission, and they just bombed like Cambodia, and then just for no reason. Yeah, and then they were helping like the Khmer Rouge, overthrow the government. So like it's like so much sketchy stuff happening. Yeah. But it's just I don't want to concentrate on that. It's just more like now it's like me discovering it and learning about it. And I'm not an expert. I'm still learning, and I'm like, there's so much to it, and I feel like even Cambodians that are like born in the U.S. or in Canada, not everybody knows about it. They know it from the parents, but a lot of the parents don't really want to talk about it because it's so sad and dark.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of it's like, it happened. We're just moving on. That's like the not motto, but like I hear that a lot. It's like the parents don't really communicate that. They're just like, we've been through it. We just don't want to we don't want to remember it. We just want to move on. We're alive. We're happy now, and we survive a worst thing ever, and we lost a lot of our family members too. So
yeah, I mean, I understand that perspective. Like not wanting to dwell on the past,
but it's also a trauma that we kind of carry as being the children of them. It's like
yeah. I mean, it's directly affecting you, right?
Yeah,
because it's affected their lives and how they feel. And so what's the actual plan for what you want to release for this collection?
So
like, can you talk about that? Do you have that all mapped out?
So the collection, I kind of looked more into the getting inspired by the music, but I wanted to keep it just more of a slow launch, or like a soft launch of like rebooting it. So I redid like the slogan, "Our future is in the hands of youth." I took the old one and I put it in this little cool font. It's like a very 90s vibe. It reminded me of like when my dad used to read a lot of like war books and army books. So it's like a lot of the font was like reminiscent of that era. Yep. But to be honest, like I think that's like a Ninja Turtles font. Like the movie from the 90s. Okay. But I thought it looked cool, but it's like, it's like a bold, like thin font. Yeah. That I like. So I just made like a hoodie and a tee with that. And I did another t-shirt that has like, it's like a record guy. So it's like Uneducated Records. It's like a dude, like just a hint on the old music back then.
That's cool.
Very cool. I did another piece that's, it says, it's just the logo, Uneducated Kids. And in the back, it's like a lotus flower. Like the lotus flower is like key to the brand. Like this hat is actually from an old collection. It has a lotus flower.
Okay. And why is the lotus?
It's like a flower of Southeast Asia.
Is it specific to Cambodia or
No,
it's
but
Southeast Asian?
it's like you know, it's there, and it's just more like the but that one has a saying, you know, from the mud it still bloom. Like, you know, lotus flower can bloom from mud. It's like a
That's a nice little metaphor.
metaphor of like, we're still like rising, you know, from the dark past kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in the back, it's like a screen print of like a lotus flower in like a halftone with like outlines. You know, it's pretty cool. And I also did a cap that says Mekong Nightclub, and you know, it was a nightclub.
What's that? Yeah.
It's just like based on an old bar. I think it was like an old club bar that one of the singers of Cambodia went or performed, and you know, so I saw that in one of the documentary where they mentioned it, and I just made it look like a neon kind of thing, just to hint on that historical part of like that singer. She's like one of the voice of Cambodia back then, and she was killed during the war.
Okay.
Well, not killed. They said they couldn't find her.
That's her. Sorry, that's the name of. That was her name, or that was
No,
the name of the bar?
Mekong Nightclub is just the name
nightclub.
of the nightclub.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know. I wanted to have like a hat that was like Asian and like had like a old bar like karaoke vibe, and I made the font like look kind of like a neon.
Yeah.
And it just looks
Sorry.
cool.
What was the singer that it ties it to?
It was a singer that she was like she was caught up in the war, and then she kind of like disappeared, but for sure like she got killed, but it's just that she disappeared, and nobody knows where I think her body is or anything. So she was like kind of like Celine Dion
Okay.
to Cambodia.
I bet you what she would sing at that nightclub.
It was part of like she went there at one point in her life.
Okay.
Like, this is me based on the documentary I saw, and it was a segment of it.
Yeah.
That I saw, and I was like, oh, that was cool, and then I just took that element and put it in there, and
So that's,
you know,
okay.
make it
So
it's like around the music scene from that then that I watched in the documentary, and just re-updating some of the slogans that I came up with. You know, like a lot of the slogans I've done, it's not stuff that I read. It's like just me like, you know,
Thinking of something.
think of something like, oh, this sounds cool.
yeah.
And put it on and then call it a day. You know,
Okay. So you have a hoodie,
a hoodie, a t-shirt,
T-shirt.
three t-shirts,
3 t-shirts,
and a cap.
and a cap.
Just super small.
Yeah.
Keep it limited.
Now you got
It'll be
lots of
sold.
quantity.
The quantities are super low because
Okay.
I'm not rich, and I just
So-
want to keep it exclusive where people that buy it kind of has a sense of like, oh, this is a little piece. It's not mass produced, right? And I'm gonna sell it at Lopez, at my homie's store, exclusively at Lopez.
The classic.
Yeah, and it'll be available there. And then if maybe I'll reprint some stuff in different colors, but it was really more like, let's reboot it, see where it goes. It seems like the feedback that people are giving me is pretty positive, and they're happy to see that come back. And then, you know, I already started thinking of like the next collection and what to do. So, but from now, like I'm just still building like the marketing. It's a really like spontaneous type of like
Yeah.
classic Johnny stuff. So I'm just like, all right, let's figure out like, oh, all right, Will, let's shoot something.
I mean, sometimes you just got to get back into get back into it. Right?
Yeah, get back into
You
it. But
haven't
it's
done
like,
it in a long time.
I'm really happy that I did it. It's like a lot of people's like, yo, you've been postponing this. It's like Donda.
But it's a lot of hard work,
I'm like,
right?
Donda. Well, it's just hard work. And
It's not like you just think of a thing and you throw it on a T-shirt and you print it, right? Like, there's a lot of thought and research.
yeah, for me, it's a lot of thought. It's
design
also
that-
giving respect to the things that I not necessarily lived or know about.
Yeah.
And it's just, and you know, and then also this collection, I forgot to say, is so design Cambodian, me, and also my screen printer and production guy is Cambodian, Ellie Chap from Huli Hula. Like, he's a
Shout
screen
out.
printer in Montreal, really dope.
That's cool.
And it was cool to work with another Cambodian creative. Like, I only known Ellie for a few years before, like he's the first cool Cambodian that I know.
He's the first
besides
cool
my brother.
Cambodian.
No, but it's just like
The other ones, not so
I know
cool.
I know some Cambodians, but like as a creative and artist and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
and then by meeting him, I discovered there's so many cooler Cambodians than me. So it's like, you know, it's trying to find like people with like mind. It's not like, you know, just other creative Cambodians. You know,
Yeah, that's sick.
we're the uneducated kids.
Oh, shit.
Well,
gang.
Hey. So yeah, I'm proud to say that, you know, it's been produced by another Cambodian. So it's like I can talk about like, yeah, it's fully Cambodian. It's not like, hey, me and this random printer. And he cares too. So
Yeah. So what was his reaction? If you want to talk on his behalf, I don't know, but
I can say because I saw him the other day and he's like, I was just waiting for you to ask me. I was
no,
like,
but what was his reaction more to like the subject matter, the content of
I think he's happy to have this find other Cambodian creators like me. Same thing, like just knowing other creatives out there, not just like not feeling like he's the only one or like just knowing that there's more people like him of the same, from the same race kind of thing.
Right. Did it make you guys have like, let's say he's like, oh, like Mekong nightclub, like, oh, what's that? And then you're like, I don't know, almost
Actually,
like revisiting or learning your history and your culture together, like trying to connect.
He didn't ask me that specifically, but I think like he knows about like me probably researching that from that movie. Like we've watched that movie, and we do share. I do share things that are Cambodian related a lot because I have somebody like, yo, like either from my brother Will, I have him like, yo, check this out. This is Cambodia. He's like, oh shit, I've never heard of this. So there's a thing of like, because he's also born here like me. Like we like for him, Cambodia is not like. He's been there. I've never been to Cambodia, but it's still like you're still an outsider there. Like you're not, you're Cambodia, but you're still a foreigner, like because you don't speak like a Cambodian from there. So so there's like we have that like allegiance or like connection through that, and also the upbringing and how our parents raised us. It's pretty similar. So it's cool. It's like you with your white friends. You're like, hey, have you been to the brunch? I don't know what I'm saying.
It's like when I have brunch with my white friends. We really connect and think about our past and our culture.
Remember colonialism?
Oh, isn't it great? Oh, the boy, times sure have changed.
The good old days where the British has invaded us.
Crikey.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's cool. So I'm really proud of it. And I don't know, I think that the clothing is cool.
I think
it's also a way for me to make clothes for me. It's like, yo, I'm wearing my clothes.
That is a move, right? Just like, you know what? Like, fuck finding other stuff. I'm just going to make things for myself that I like. It's great.
Dude, to be a lot of the clothes I wear are designed by my friends. Like, either like from shopping at Lopez, but, there's a lot of my creative friends that make T-shirts and design. And I'd rather pay that and know that I could be like, yo, this shirt is from my buddy. And there's a cool story behind it versus like, hey, this is a big fashion house. Like, yeah, the fashion house stuff is cool. It's also really pricey, but I don't know. I just like supporting other people.
Supporting like local and friends, and so I got to go in store
to buy it.
We'll go and I'll go meet Dennis.
To Lopez and hang with Dennis and Graham and Gustavo. Really cool guys. Lopez, go shop there. A local store on Plaza St. Hubert. If you're not from Montreal, they have an online store.
Beautiful.
Go shop there. My stuff will be there. Amongst
Limited
other brands,
quantities.
They have really cool brands from around the world, from Japan to Europe to Canada to US, California, everywhere.
All right, so I guess you'll, obviously follow his socials at Shop by JFK to find out when it drops, right?
Yep.
Won't be, it's in the next couple, it's going to be within October.
I think once this drops, it's probably going to drop the week after.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just waiting on one piece, but anyways, it'll be
so mid to later October.
It'll be there. It might be sold out already.
Sounds like it'll,
I don't know. I hope it sells out.
Can you at least give me a heads up of like so I can go ahead and try to get one before it's sold out?
Yeah, I'll announce it and be like, hey, all
no,
friends.
tell me personally.
Oh, okay.
Before everyone else.
No, but I want other people to wear it too. So yeah, it'll be available at Lopez, and follow me on my IG, Shot by JFK. I'll announce some stuff, and yeah, I'm excited.
It's very exciting. I'm really looking forward to
wearing. Nice.
Supporting my friends.
Very nice. Very nice.
Through their creative endeavors.
All right. I think
it's very exciting.
We are creative folks.
Is there anything?
I don't know. I think we spoke about something that's kind of, you learned something.
Absolutely.
And I like to talk about things that I work on. It was interesting format. Like it felt like I was getting interviewed, but it's still our podcast. It's not like
Yeah. I also felt like I
guest.
didn't actually ask you that many questions, but
hey,
hey,
that's what it is. You know,
I think it's a very interesting topic. I think there's more. I think it's almost like your. I feel like your brand or your collection is almost like a conversation starter, right? It's an opportunity to connect with someone, for you to connect. It's all about connection, right?
yeah,
For you to connect to your history, for other people to understand and connect, and like it opens the conversation. So I think that's what this episode is as well. Like maybe it'll make people think about it, and I don't know,
and connect.
and connect.
Remember to connect.
Let's connect.
Connect.
Did you want to
for-
connect?
What?
Connect our fingers. We've never done this before. Oh, you feel weird, don't you? Getting a real weird feeling? Get a little massage. Connection. It's good to connect with
Yes.
people.
Do we finish with a song?
I mean, you don't have to ask me twice.
Don't ask me twice.
'Cause I'm very nice.
Don't ask me twice.
'Cause I'll put you on ice.
Just don't ask me twice.
Ask me once.
And once.
And only once.
Once.
Not twice.
Not twice. This song does not rhyme with once.
It only rhymes with
Nice.
love.
Love. This was an episode of Weird
love.
Love.
Lee feeling.
And
It's nice being a loser sometimes.
yeah, mate.
I love being a loser.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kangaroos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, kangaroo koala. Oh, yeah.
Koalas, kangaroo. I can't. It's so dumb. All right, there. Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, as always.
And remember, stay weird.
Stay fucking weird.
Bye, weirdos. Oh, that's a caress. It's like you're caressing a butt.
Oh, caress the butt.
You know, like when you're caressing things and you do different curves, it just makes it differently. Like if it's like
if you do different. Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
what's
like-
that
like-
one?
use your imagination.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh.
This is late. It's late in the day. It's been a long day. Have a good night. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Have a good night. Have a
Beat,
good night.
beat,
Have a
beat,
good night.
box.
Have a good night. 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 Have a good. Have a. Ho. Ha. Ho.
All right. It's an ASMR now.
Oh, you're feeling weird. It was